Now, this year's Mining Indaba got underway in Cape Town. The gathering brings together mining CEOs, investors and government officials looking for opportunities and growth. Analysts expect this year's event to be more upbeat as commodity prices are up significantly. SABC reporter Devan Murugan spoke to the Chamber of Mines President Mike Teke about the expected outcomes of the Indaba as well as the mood of industry players.
Welcome from Cape Town. We are on the first day of the Mining Indaba at the International Convention Centre. We have mining CEOs, mining ministers from the rest of the continent, as well as eager investors, all under one roof for the next 4 days. And I say eager because organisers say that the registration numbers for investors alone are up 70%. Now, to get a sense of why investors and delegates are eager this year and what the expected outcomes are, I'm joined by the President of the Chamber of Mines, Mr. Mike Teke. Mike, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.
So we have an industry that's supporting 460,000 jobs, the mining industry. So I would imagine that the outcomes, the expectations, the relevance of this gathering is as important for the workers as it is for the investors and mining CEOs here at this event.
The mining industry is employing 460,000 employees, and it is important to note that there are critical stakeholders in the mining industry. Yes, we've got shareholders who invest their money, who want returns out of this industry. We have labor, we have employees who make sure that they provide us with labor, and it is important that therefore they are looked after as a stakeholder. We have communities within which we operate. We've got a broad range of other stakeholders who watch closely in terms of progress regarding this industry.
Mike, so you look at commodity prices of late. I suppose the uptick is what's creating the enthusiasm at the moment. But at the same time, while we're seeing those profits coming in from mining companies, one would argue that they're still pretty much in cost-cutting mode, are they not?
Well, most of the businesses, or all businesses, have to be efficient, have to be effective in what they do to ensure that they deliver profits. But what is important is, as businesses grow, as businesses create value for the shareholders, we shouldn't disregard the fact that we still have a huge responsibility from a corporate governance point of view, from a good corporate citizenship point of view, to ensure that we look after the other stakeholders.
And then you come to the elephant in the room. I mean, there's always this big word, uncertainty, that hovers around gatherings like this, particularly with the Mining Indaba and mining meetings. And it goes without saying, two pieces of legislation you've been speaking about this morning that creates this awkward element here. The Mining and Petroleum Resources Development Act and the Mining Charter. Let's start with the Act first, Mike. Where are we, and what's the weight, what's the pause on that?
Globally, every business in this world survives on the basis of certainty. We're talking about certainty from a regulatory point of view. That's what you're referring to. The MPRDA is in the parliamentary system, as we understand it. We have had engagements with the Department of Mineral Resources to try and ensure that this is progressed, and once it's progressed and delivered, we will have the certainty that we're talking about.
Why is it taking so long, number one? Number two, are you confident that you would get progress? I mean, from a chamber's point of view, how's the confidence levels?
My confidence levels are high simply because we're engaging at this point in time. You know, if you keep quiet, then it becomes problematic. But we have been engaging with the department. We have been talking to the minister and the team. And we believe that the commitments they've made will ensure that the MPRDA is delivered. And once it's delivered, certainty is assured, and you have investors having the confidence to invest in this industry, not only international investors, but local investors as well.
Yeah. Speaking to analysts yesterday, I mean, they were pretty straightforward in what they said regarding the Act. As far as the minister's discretion is concerned to issue licenses, they've pointed to countries where you have courts issuing those licenses. Educate me about that particular view.
Well, what is important to note is that whilst we believe that the minister has got powers, the minister has got the responsibility to ensure that the Act is implemented according to the letter of the law. It is important to note that South Africa has got a strong rule of law. Therefore, our expectation is to ensure that our minister delivers to the commitments of what the Act says. So I'm not doubtful that we will have challenges. However, if you compare us with other countries, there are other countries where their acts operate differently. And compared to other countries, we have world-class legislation, but we need to ensure that it's fully implemented, it's fully understood, and at the end of the day, that then strengthens the regulatory environment.
All right, the once empowered, always empowered rule. This is part of the mining charter. There's also a lot of unease and unhappiness there. The issue has been taken to court by the mines. It's back on the discussion table. Where are we with those discussions with government and the mines on that rule? And for the sake of viewers, this is about the 26% ownership and whether or not relinquishing that still gives you that empowerment status. Where are you with talks with government on that?
We have mentioned over these months, and yesterday the discussion continued, that we are in discussion with the government. We are discussing that, and we believe there will be progress that will be made. However, there's nothing wrong taking issues to court. You know, the world is like that. Litigation is an option for quite a number of, but we don't prefer it. We would like to discuss. So at this point in time, between us and the DMR, we're having discussions to try and find a solution.
Mike, the other thing is 2016 saw a lot of students knocking on the chamber doors saying that the mines have to play their fair share with regards to tertiary education and development in that regard. The pressure's heating up, is it not?
Well, the pressure is heating up in the whole country. I mean, the whole discussion around fees must fall is very important. We, as a mining industry, we're playing our role. We support students with bursaries, but if the country goes through that and the discussions take place about resolving this matter regarding university studies and students' fees, we would like to be part of that discussion.
Can we quantify what you've done so far?
Well, we support quite a number of students. Different mining houses support different students, and the Mining Qualifications Authority supports different students. So we have to aggregate that number and give it to you.
Okay. Just finally, Mike, the Section 54, it's another big topic, and again, for the sake of our viewers, stopping mining operations when there's one incident in a particular part of the mine. We've seen talk of some companies saying that inspectors owe them something in the figure of 26 million rand for losses. What is the stand really when it comes to mine stoppages due to safety? Where do you stand on that?
You know, I am a proponent, I support zero harm. The mining industry has got the Mine Health and Safety Council, the mining industry has got a Mine Health and Safety Act, and our mantra as the industry is zero harm. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to legislation will be respected by the industry. We respect legislation, we believe in rule of law. But what is important is that any legislation must be applied appropriately. If it's not, then you're going to find that some of our members will challenge it in court.
Mike Teke, President of the Chamber of Mines, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. And that's where we are, the first day of the Mining Indaba in Cape Town at the International Convention Centre. We'll be following the rest of this Indaba as the week progresses.